So today on chapter 2, we're going to discuss about the hygiene, the safety, and the professional conduct standards, which are really important for a housekeeper. So first, let's start from the personal hygiene, which is like the first professional standard. Before doing the rooms and before cleaning the rooms, the staff or the housekeeper must be clean because we can't clean another things when we are not clean. So first, even though we can't take quick showers within a 5 minutes because it's summer and it's hot, we should have a shower before our shift, if we are gonna start in the morning, like before morning or before breakfast, like whenever we want. But we should have a shower. We should be clean. And the other thing is our hair must be like clean and it has to be tied back. We can't let down our hair because it prevents the hair from falling on the floor when we are cleaning the rooms, or it might fall on the beds or into the chemicals. So it's better to tie the hairs instead of letting them down because it looks professional and also it looks tidy. And the other thing is uh, we can't uh, we can't have a long nails and we can't use a polish, a nail polish. The nails should be short and also clean because when the nails are long, they will trap dirt or bacteria. And if we are polishing our nails, the nail clips might fall into the rooms. So and the other thing is like when we are having a long nail, when we are using the gloves, it might tear the gloves. So it's good not to have a long nail and not to use a nail polish. And the other thing is we can't use jewelry because if we are having a ring, I mean like the extra big or like a huge ring or a bracelet or a necklace, they might trap a dirt or a bacteria. Not like a simple ones, but the ones that are big or extra things, we can't do that because like they trap bacteria and also dirt, and also they might stuck on the towels or the other amenities, and during that, like when we are folding when we are stocking the amenities, it will be a problem for us. So it's better to avoid like big jewelries. And if we have a cut or like a wound, it's better to cover the cuts or the wounds because since we are dealing with the dirt, it prevents to form it prevents from an infection. And our hands must be like always groomed and like cleaned, because not clean but groomed, because like um everything that we're doing is by our hands, so it's our tool, our hands are tool, so always have to be groomed. And when we are using deodorant, it shouldn't be a strong perfume because the gases might be irritated, they might have allergy. So we can use like natural deodorants. And the other mandatory element for housekeeper is we have to wear a company uniform. It depends on the resorts. Some of them will give you like a full attire, or some of them will give you something which you can put on the top, but you have to wear like most of the places you have to wear black trousers and a white t-shirt or shirt, and then they will have their own uniform, and then you will put it on the top. So when we are using a work coat or a professional work wear, it would be appropriate. And like obviously they will give us the colors, but as I told you, most of the time it will be black trouser and white t-shirt or white shirt. And when we put the uniform, it's like we are becoming the resort, like the faces of the resort, right? So it shouldn't be wrinkled, or it shouldn't be a dirty uniform. Like even though like we are working as a cleaners and we are dealing with a lot of dirt or garbage, like we have to maintain our cleanness, and then we have to like wash them every time. And like because like the when the guests are seeing us, if our uniform is wrinkled or dirty, they will think that the place or the resort is a kind of place who the people who are there are lazy. So we should be careful when we about the uniform. And the other thing is we shouldn't wear a non like we shouldn't wear slippery shoes because uh, we work like on the marble or like slippery things, and we always clean the places, and it will be always soapy or like watery. So when we are running or when we are walking by the corridors or everywhere, it will be slippery. So we have to make sure our shoes are like not slippery, because if we are wearing a slippery shoes and then if we are running from here to there, we will be break our bones, right? So first, it should be the safety that comes before. So we have to make sure that we are not wearing a slippery shoes or like shoes or proper. We have to wear proper shoes. And the other thing is when we are using the disposable gloves for the bathrooms, we have to change in every room, because the germs or the dirt that we brought from the other room shouldn't be or shouldn't go to the other to the next room. So we have to change every disposable gloves when we go from one room to the other room. Okay. And when we are collecting a dirty linen or any kind of trash, we have to use the reusable gloves, and we have to be careful when we are collecting the dirty, the dirty things or like the trashes, because there might be sharp things which will cut our hands, so we have to be careful. And then if it's necessary, we can wear a mask, a face mask. For example, if there are strong chemical products which smell really strong, or if there are rooms which have unpleasant odors, we can use a face mask, but it's not mandatory. We can also use protective gloves, which is also like not required, but if we feel like we have to wear protective gloves, goggles. For example, if we are dealing with the chemical products, we can use protective goggles. Okay. So the next topic will be the professional behavior in the presence of the guest when we are interacting with the guest. So when we are talking about housekeeping, it represents like the quality or the cleanness of the resort, right? So uh, we don't interact with the guests mostly, but sometimes we interact with them. So it should be professional, and if it should be polite. So we shouldn't enter into the room without knocking. So there's a procedure. First, we will knock, and then after that, we say housekeeping, or in their language, policia or camerera. And then we will wait for 5 minutes or like 7 minutes. And then if we don't hear anything, if you don't hear any response, we will knock again. And then after that, we will like slowly up or and carefully we will open the door. And then we shouldn't speak loudly, because the guests are like resting and they need their time to be like without a disturbance. So we shouldn't disturb the corridors and also the inside the rooms. And the other thing is, when we are cleaning, we will definitely find a lot of rooms which are messy, which are dirty, like everything on the floor, everything on the bed. It will be messy, but we shouldn't comment on the state of the room. Yeah, even if it's like a kind of messy, because like the guest might be nearby, or they might hear us talking bad stuff. So the gossip spreads, and then it will be bad things. So our face should remain like neutral, even if it's dirty. No matter what we see, it should be neutral. Our face should be neutral. Instead, we can like quietly clean professionally, and then we will leave the room. And we shouldn't like judge the guests, even though they are kids or they are like all grown up. We shouldn't judge anyone. Like every guest is the same, and they deserve this like the same respect and the same service. And then we can't open the suitcases, the drawers, or the personal items. It's strictly forbidden. We shouldn't touch anything. We can clean around, and then if there is anything which is suspicious, if there is anything which is concerning, we can report privately for the executive housekeeper, but we shouldn't touch anything. And we should always greet the guests if we see them. For example, we shouldn't talk like in detail. We shouldn't have a long conversation, but we can say good morning or good afternoon, good evening, or like enjoy your day, such kind of things. Like no long conversation, but just kind of greetings. Even if we are tired, like even if we are busy, we should say like some words because it shows like a friendly behavior, a friendly personality and professionalism. And the other things like we should smile or maintain like a composed posture even though we are in stress because our body tells everything. If we are stressed, and if we are talking to the guests in a stressed way, the guests also be stressed. So we should look calm and professional and then like relax. And then when we talk to the guests, they will also not feel stressed or they will feel like relaxed. Okay, so when we are cleaning the houses, like when we are housekeepers, the guests are letting everything for us. I mean, they're not gonna take anything from their room. When we are coming, they will just let everything inside the room and then they will go out. So like we shouldn't touch anything. The things that they will let us they will put inside the room and then they will leave are their personal items, their documents, their money, computers medicine, electronic device, everything. So like we should be handling everything properly. Is everything clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So when we summarize the things that we said till now, there are negotiable. We've talked that this rules are non-negotiable rules. We shouldn't touch any electronic device such as mouse, tablet, laptop, or cameras. We should never move valuable items, for example, wallets, jewelry, watches, or like banknotes. We never open the closed wardrobes. Even if they are closed, they should remain closed till they do the checkout. And never comment on the guest's room with the colleagues. And if the guest forgets an item while they are doing the checkout, we have to immediately report the item as a lost and found. So for whom we should tell for the executive housekeeper, and then they will fill the form and then they will give it to the reception. So by doing that, it will be good for for us and also for the guests. Okay, so the next topic is the staff safety during operations. So, but first we have to be careful and we have to make sure that we are okay in order to do the housekeeping, right? So to avoid injuries, we have to lift the linen bags correctly. We have to bend our knees, and then we have to keep our bags straight. Even though for the housekeeping, the problem is having a back pain. In order to like reduce the back pain, we have to be careful. And then we shouldn't push like over heavy trolleys. The overloaded trolleys are like hard to control, so they can like tip, they can roll away, or they can strain our arm and shoulders. So we have to be careful, and be aware of like the wet floors. Wet floors are everywhere in the housekeeping, in bathroom, or where like after mopping the floor, the white and I mean the water might spill. So wet floors are everywhere. So we should be careful. We shouldn't be running everywhere because it would be risky for us. And then the correct use of a mop is instead of doing forward and backward or left or right, we can use the eight figure motion, and then that will be simple for us, and then it will clean everything. And we should be attentive while using the chemical products, because if we are mixing everything, it will be a problem. For example, mixing a bleach with ammonia or acid creates chlorine gas, which will kill you. So mixing every chemicals to create a dangerous reaction would be a problem for everyone, not even for us. So we should be careful. And the other thing is never stand on the chairs or improvised objects, because the chairs that we are standing might tip or the tips might slide, the boxes might collapse. So like only use like a proper or a stable ladder if we want to take something from like the wardrobe or the cupboard. Okay, so when we come to the chemicals or the products which are used in the housekeeping, there are the main types are the multi-purpose cleaners, the disinfectants, the descaling products, the glass cleaners, the professional degreasers, and the professional air fresheners. Also, when we see them in deep, the multi-purpose cleaners are like the general cleaning cleaners, like for most surfaces, and then they are safe for like every surface, and they can like we can use them every time, everywhere by daily cleaning. And then for the disinfectants, they kill bacteria and viruses. We use them in bathroom or high-touch surfaces, for example, indoor handle or light switch. And the other chemical products we use in housekeeping is descaling products. For this chemical is used for hard water. The hard water leaves white deposits in the taps. So in order to remove that white deposit, we can use the descaling products. But we shouldn't leave the descaling products for long because it can also damage the sinks. So we have to be careful. And the other one is the glass cleaners. They are like ammonia-based or alcohol-based, so they will leave like no residue. And the professional degreasers are used for the kitchen areas or the extension fans or the greasy marks on the walls. So they basically remove like oily things. And the other one is the professional air fresheners, which eliminates the odors if the room is a little bit weird, or if it has a little bit odd odor, we can use this professional air freshener. So they are not like they don't have a strong odor, so we can use them. And they are like a kind of neutralizers. So they will neutralize the bad smells and they add a freshness. So when we're talking about the chemicals, as I told you, we should be careful. And then the correct dilution is if we use too much product, it will damage the surface, the first thing. And the other thing is if we are being extravagant, it will cost higher. So we should be proper when we are mixing products. And the other thing, if we are using little product, it will not clean properly. And when we are mixing, like we should be really careful. For example, if we, as I told you, if we mix the chlorine and ammonia, toxic gas will produce. If we mix acid or bases, corrosion might occur. So we shouldn't mix. And if we have to mix, we have to make sure we read the labels properly. This one, we already talked about it. So for room entry protocol, it should be professional. First, we will knock and then we will say housekeeping, in Italian, polizia or cameriera. And then we will wait for an answer for 5 seconds to 7 seconds. And then we will knock again. And then after that, we will slowly open. If we have a key, we can use. If we don't, if the door is open, we can enter. But if we hear a voice and if they say no, we should go back. And then after opening the door, we will slowly enter and then we will announce our presence. And then we will check if the guests are sleeping or if they are not they are inside the room. If there is a DND or which is don't disturb mode, we shouldn't enter into that room. And then after opening the door, after going inside, and then after making sure that we're present there, we will check the general condition of the room before starting working. Because if there's something which is leaking, we can call for the maintenance. If there is anything wrong, we can call for help. If everything is okay, we will open the doors, I mean the windows for ventilation. And then we will turn all the lights. And then we will start cleaning from the bathroom and from the bedroom. Whether the reason that we start from the bedroom is because while I was working, the rooms inside most of the rooms, there is sand on the bed. So after cleaning the floor, if we do the bed, it means like there will be a dust or there will be a sand on the bed, which will be on the floor again. So first we should make the bed, and then after that we will go to the floor. And for the bathroom, yeah, we can start from the bathroom. In some resorts, there are separate people for the bathroom and also for the bedroom. And for some resorts, there will be one person who cleans both the bathroom and also for the bedroom. So it depends on the resort. This protocol ensures like the personal safety, the guest respect, and also like the mental order in the procedure. So the things that we have to be during cleaning is we shouldn't use a personal phone, and we shouldn't talk with colleagues with inside like on the corridors, because it would be unprofessional and it will disturb the guests. And we should speak in low tone. We shouldn't listen to the music. We should never throw away items that are not clearly trash. And if there is something like clothes or garment on the bed, we shouldn't touch it. We try to make the bed without touching the items that they put on the bed. And if there's an object on the floor that's definitely not a waste, we shouldn't touch it. For example, there might be a medicine or money. We shouldn't touch anything. Like we would just leave it there. And if there's a drink or something to eat while cleaning, we can't eat, we can't drink, because it's for guests. And the safe waste management is, while we are removing the trash cans, we should wear gloves. Always wear like heavy duty gloves, the big ones and the thick ones, while handling any waste, because inside the trash there might be a lot of sharp stuffs or like broken glass, which will hurt, which will cut our hands. So we should wear the heavy duty gloves. And we can also use a double layer box when we are removing the trash bags or the trash cans. And then we can take the other one or the old one, and we can put it on the other bag, and then we can remove it. And we should never press bags in our hands, because as I told you, there might be different kind of things inside the bag, inside the trash can. So we shouldn't put it. We shouldn't pull it with our hands or with legs. Instead, we can just remove them, and then we can change another trash can inside the trash. We can put in trash bag inside the trash can. And the other things, we can short the recyclable waste if the resort wants us to separate things, glass for glass, plastic for plastic, recycling or non-recyclable separately. But it depends on the resort. Some of them, they don't need anything. They will just want us to collect everything and then put it together inside the garbage. Okay, so when we already said it thoroughly, but to talk about it, the room fragrance to talk about the room fragrance standards, the resorts require like light and neutral fragrance, which is not strong, because it might cause allergies for the guests. And we can use professionally dosed sprays, which are like 1 or 2 sprays, not more than that. And never spray on the bed, only on the air. Is everything clear?
Yes.
Okay. So the professional behavior that makes the difference, when we move confidently, we never run. It means we are being professional. Even though we have to run, it shouldn't be like in a mess. Like we should be confident, and yeah, it's obvious if we are working, we might run, but it should be professionally, and maintain an elegant posture. We shouldn't never raise our voice on the guests. And also, like when we're talking to our colleagues, we should never show like stress. We should handle a linen with care, because there are guests everywhere. Even if we are outside, they will see us. So if we are not handling it properly, that linen is the one that will enter into their room. So they might think that we're careless. So we should be careful, even though we are outside. And when we enter in when we enter and exit the room that we cleaned, we should be silent. We should leave the room in perfect, like a perfect and clean way. And we should always be available, smiling and polite. So the housekeeper, as a housekeeper, the checklists for the staff are a personal hygiene, a uniform, behavior, safety, a correct use of equipment, and we should be fast, like not in a hurry, but we should be fast. uh, we should avoid, like we have to try to avoid mistakes even though we're people and then we make mistakes. The relationship with our colleagues must and guests must be neutral, and then the room attendant or the housekeeper who excels in this aspect is like a valuable asset, and it's often promoted or reconfined for future seasons. Thank you for joining us. This was all about today's classes.